Today is May 14th. Today's quote is entitled Self-Deception Part 1. Tomorrow will be Part 2. It's an important topic. Choosing to be honest with ourselves is often difficult because it requires that we have enough humility to acknowledge the truth, enough self-worth to not become discouraged by it, and enough desire and strength to change once the truth is acknowledged. I just came across this quote the other day, and I was so impressed by it. But then I realized I wrote it, which is sometimes interesting to read something you wrote and forget that you wrote it. And thank you, Krishna, for putting that thought in my mind. And I remember that I was studying this topic. That when you study a topic very deeply, you become very familiar with what's required to go through or to defeat your own self-deception. So then I made these points that there has to be some self-honesty. We have to be willing first to look at our faults. Some of us are not willing because the ego doesn't want to confront the fact that I'm not up here, I may be down here, or maybe down here, or maybe even below the screen. You can't even see how low I am. And then when I acknowledge it, wow, that could just like destroy me. And then I have to actually do something about it. That in itself is difficult, because if I can't even acknowledge or accept the fact that I'm not as great as I am, to try to change myself reminds me that I'm not as great as I am. So sometimes I don't even want to change because it's depressing to think that I'm not as good as I thought I was, and I'd rather not think about it. Or, as we know, it's difficult to try to change anything about ourselves. So it's easier not to change. So then I can deceive myself further by thinking, well, it doesn't matter, or I can't change, or I tried in the past and it didn't work, and this is just how I am, and it's okay, and I can adjust, and on and on and on. So that's one aspect of self-deception. And we all do it. We all lie to ourselves. I once watched a video in which a professor who teaches this was saying how we all lie to ourselves. We promise ourselves that we will do something or we won't do something when we know we're not going to do it, or we're not going to do it. Oh, I will only eat 3 of these. It's late at night, I shouldn't eat much. I'll only eat 3. In our entire life, we've never only eaten 3. But at that point, we're telling ourselves, I will only eat 3. And then we eat the whole package. You've done that, right? So self-deception is, I don't know, we like to live in a world that's not real. It makes us feel good or something. Or, Maya's just covering us and saying, well, it's okay, whatever it is. But to advance in spiritual life, we have to acknowledge what a problem is. We have to be able to see it. We have to be able to not become destroyed by acknowledging it. And we have to be inspired to work on it and not convince ourselves that it's okay to just go on with this problem, when in fact, in most cases, it's not okay. So I just want to read this again to remind myself what I said, because I wrote this a long time ago, and make sure I covered everything. Choosing to be honest with ourselves is often difficult because it requires that we have enough humility to acknowledge the truth. Yeah, just, okay, I can see it. I have enough humility to admit it. Yeah, I would say acknowledge or just admit it. Sometimes that's extremely difficult just to admit it, especially when other people tell us. Then we need enough self-worth not to become discouraged. For some of us, if we admit it, it destroys ourselves because our level of self-worth is not high, and so it's easy to get destroyed. And then enough desire and strength to change. Yeah, strength to change. We want everybody to change except me. That's the problem. Hare Krishna. If you like this video, you can subscribe below. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you share this video with others, if you comment on it, if you like it, do whatever you have to click to share it, because I think a lot of devotees would appreciate getting these videos. I try to take our philosophy and put it in a practical way so we know how to apply it in daily activity. And this is one of the services I do. And I want to reach as many devotees as possible. If you can help me, I'd appreciate it so much. Thank you.